Why is it not playing music?
Welcome to my world where it never plays music.
Oh gosh. Oh, we will figure this out with technology and audio and video. We will do it.
Wait, someone in the chat tell me if there was music to that because I worked on that.
I commented on how jaunty it was when you sent the draft out.
Yeah.
Check doesn't always play the video sound for me when we play it at the beginning, so I can't tell you if it does or not.
Fair enough. All right, let's get started. Everyone, my name is Ben Klein. I am the Chief Recipe Officer at Proposal Industry Experts, owner of Peak Proposals. With me today is Rochelle Ray, the Chief Bakers Officer at Pi, and also the owner of RMR Consulting. We're both in the proposal industry as consultants, and hanging out, giving you your updates. And today we have a very, very special guest. Every 12 months or so, we refresh the Baker's Dozen. This is the 13 amazing individuals who support the proposal industry experts community by bringing us the most interesting stuff and evaluating what we're bringing out and giving us honest feedback, sometimes really, really hurtfully honest. No, I'm joking. It's all good. It's all good. Anyways, so we just rolled out a fresh group at RFWin 2024, and Ama Cobbina is one of them. You've presented for us before, like several times, I think. Like this is not our first.
Just once.
Just once. Didn't you do another presentation? I felt like okay.
No. I'm always the one in the chat going, "Oh my gosh, this is great." Did you guys hear this? We're the best.
Almost our resident cheerleader. It's amazing.
Yeah. So we want to make sure that that you and the community know about the Baker's Dozen people. And today, Alma has a presentation for us on how you doodle through problems or something like, or doodle through opportunities.
Yeah. I mean, last year in May we had a doodle in. Rachel and I workshopped the name. It was Rachel's idea. I love it. And
it was your idea. I just on it.
I enjoyed it. I had a good time. There was a bridge and there was some forest and trees and everything. Like it was.
Yes.
It was very helpful for me to kind of like visualize.
Good.
So a lot of fun. Anyways, but why don't you introduce yourself to the community? Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we can launch right into your topic. So
many thanks to Pi for letting me come back on the advisory board. I've been doing proposals now for 15 or so years. A couple years ago, I started actually trying to think of how long it's been, and I've made several mistakes. I think I finally got it now. So 15 or so years now, which is amazing. And I'm as we all sort of grow up in the industry, we try to figure out the best ways to move as quickly as we can, but be strategic, not only about the products that we're putting out, but about our careers, the things that could bring us, I don't want to say joy because I feel as if that's like, it's becoming one of those words that's just like, yeah, okay, that's nice. But, it's a high stress environment, right? So trying to find those moments, whether it's 15 minutes or hopefully half an hour, you'll be joining me just to sort of draw things out, doodle it out, and see where you are, where you want to be. And if we're really good, what kind of steps, whether it's conversations with folks, with your team, with members of your leadership group, members with Pi Network, other networks that you have out there to help support you and sort of problem solve as you go along. I know it's difficult. We're competitive people. We want to just focus and put our best foot forward and get the win, but it's good to be self-reflective,
Absolutely. And for everybody listening, the Doodle-In, the official Doodle-In with Ama is September 17th at 12:30 Eastern. The link is in the community calendar. So we'll just pop in. Ama's going to do her amazing thing, and we will doodle out a pathway.
Yeah. And as join the community, give me ideas for topics. The first one is professional and team development. Again, being in the industry for so long, you get exposed, and you try to sort of think through all the things that make good leaders, right? And it's the title, yes, but it's all the skills, especially interpersonal relationships, self-reflection, and self-awareness that helps you get through that. So yeah, come join us. Come join me. We'll doodle it out.
All right. So today, are we actually we're not doing a doodle, or are we doing? No.
No,
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about it.
we're talking about the process. So, like,
Mhm.
I guess maybe the question is, if you're going to attend a doodle-in,
Mhm.
what do they need to do to prepare? Like, how do they best take advantage? Do you have any suggestions there, or?
Yeah, I mean, I would say think about the kinds of choices that you need to make, whether it's that week, next week, or in the coming 2 weeks, in the coming month. Um, and since our topic is around your professional and your team development, think about the kind of things that maybe you wish your team could support you with.
Mhm.
And think about the things that, you know, whether you are super busy now because it's almost the season, if it's not the season already, for us to just be inundated with responses as budget years are closing.
Mhm.
Think about the kinds of things that you want to be doing. Being able to question yourself about your choices gives some perspective. And as I sort of doodle things out, feel free to add your own. You don't really have to draw things and make things look pretty. Um, I love using typography as part of sort of the doodling.
Mhm.
Um, Iconography is great as well. So if you loved to just sort of do those things, cast your mind back to middle school, high school, junior high, yeah, sort of just come willing and able to just sort of stop for the 30 minutes,
Mhm.
right? The day is fast, tons of emails, things to do, but hopefully that's helpful.
So, yeah, in that regard, like when I watched it the first time, and maybe Rochelle can give insight onto her experience. I used it exactly as that.
Mhm,
Tried to make it a mental break for the day, and just like a chance for me to like revisualize concerns in my life, right? Like, I think like many people, I like fell into kind of like some of that mental mapping productivity
mhm,
thing where you just like try to create connections between disparate thoughts and stuff like that, and they're cool to look at,
mhm.
but it only gets you so far staring at 1,000 points of dots that have like text attached to them. Whereas I found with yours, it was actually helpful to be like, oh, like my career had to jump over a river here, or my career had to like walk down this pathway, or there was a branch here and stuff like that.
Mhm,
And just like thinking through that thoughts, like why did I make that decision?
mhm.
That was like really really helpful for me and thoughtful. I don't know, Rochelle, like you let me know about your experience.
I was gonna say, do you know what my experience was then? Go for it. I was rewatching this actually because we used it as one of the resources for our mentorship cohort. I had them watch it and kind of think about planning their career, especially for our mentees. And I'm rewatching it and I'm like, Alma, one, you're just so calm. And so listening to you while you're doodling through this is very cathartic. It was like, what are those like sensory videos on like Instagram?
ASM.
ASMR.
Yes, it was like ASMR. It was visual and auditory ASMR for me because the doodles are so smooth and like watching, yeah, the forking paths. And I was like, oh yeah, I had a forking path. Like I could have stayed here, but I chose to move, or I chose to move and I could have gone this way or that way. And I'm not sure why I went that way, but here's what it resulted in. And
Mhm.
yeah, it was very reflective and very calming to me. And I did the same thing that Ben did. I used it very much as a I'm checking out for right now, and I'm checking into this moment because it's very important, and that's something that's very hard for me to do as a proposal person. Like, even right now, I've got 15 different windows open, and it's trying to, like, just look here. Uh, I mean, it's not hard for me because temp check is easy to engage in, but just in general, as a proposal manager, like, bouncing around is so hard. I'm like, "Oh, I'll get that email. I need to check this. I'll take that phone call. I'm messaging Ben," like,
Yeah.
but that hour was just that's it. I'm
Yeah.
listening to and
No,
it was
that's awesome.
it
That's
was lovely.
awesome. That's
I'm
awesome.
so excited for Doodle Ends. I want
Yeah.
to make this a reoccurring monthly event, so 30 minutes out of your month to doodle out a conundrum in the proposal industry. I think it'll be a really fun and interesting exercise for all of us as a community.
Yeah. And you have a little bit of an artifact that you can take with you, once it's done and you rewatch it. I encourage you all, between the doodlings that are happening to do some of your own. Try to take some of that imagery or something else in your mind that comes up. I think one of the things that I really enjoy about being able to doodle is after a while, when I sort of am moving through my day, visualizing something becomes a little easier. So, being able to understand a more complex concept in your everyday becomes a little bit easier to do. So definitely get your body involved. Try to doodle things out yourself, and think through things visually. Because I don't know the exact statistic, but I think most people are visual learners on some level. Of course, there's always a mix. There's some people who can hear people's or hear voices that help them understand themselves. Like I can hear it does not sound like the way I usually sound, but the voice in my head is usually like super powerful and like super like excited about stuff. So when people tell me that I sound really calm, I really appreciate it because sometimes I'm like, it's hectic up there. But being
You
able
sound
to
confident. You just sound also very calm, and it's
right? I'm like, it's so good because sometimes the panic and I'm like, oh no, 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 no. let's let's sound something else coming out. But being able to hone in sort of a visualization skill can bring together all the things that we need to think about in the day to day, especially as proposal folks, right? Where we have to consider the relationships, the collaboration, the product itself, how we're going to get it out, bring it in, all the things that you have to consider.
So
Mm.
So now I'm curious because of course during the Arwen conference we had someone who does something similar. Uh,
Mhm.
Jennifer, why am I forgetting her last name? Judson. Anyway,
Middleton.
thank you, thank you. She was in my track, the recipes track, and I'm sad actually because I think that we didn't give her the proper space to go through all of her stuff. But she was trying to do kind of this topology of problems, like, hey,
Mm.
like put all of your like mental issues that you have, like all the positives and negatives, like, hey, maybe deadlines are mountains inside your drawings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe like having an SME deliver something on time is like a nice gentle glade or an oasis in the desert or something like that, and then like start mapping it
Mm.
that way, as kind of like, hey, this is like almost. And I was like, because I'm so literal, I was like, oh, I could use this as a way to like give a visual representation of like how good or bad the bid process was for a very specific bid, right? I could use it in my postmortems and something like that. Like, yeah, we had a mountain here where none of you were getting stuck.
Definitely. Definitely.
But I'm curious because I didn't get a chance because we ran out of time during her session to like really
Mm.
interrogate like how she got into it. So now that I have 15 minutes with you, uh, I would love to know like how did you start this process? Like,
Oh man. So I think I've always had an inclination to try to make picture things in
Mm.
my mind. Um, I studied architecture, but before that, when I thought of anything really, um, and as you know, this is so funny because I was talking to my son about the internet and being able to look things up and remembering a time where like you didn't there were no search engines.
Mhm.
So I remember being young and thinking about something, wanting to understand something. My dad was fantastic. He had the Encyclopedia Britannica, so I had that. And then when the internet came, it was like I could take that image and I could look up an image and I could sort of just give it some fidelity in my mind. And I think doing that at a young age, and having that kind of privilege was really integral to sort of honing a visual kind of language. The other thing was, I'm multilingual. English is not my first language. I've lost three other languages before English became my core.
Mhm.
Um, so I always feel as if I'm cycling through a bunch of words to try to get stuff out. And having to go through an image in my mind just helps. But other people that may feel as if, visualizing things and thinking through things as pictures, I would invite you to think about, when you remember something. I know the first inclination is maybe to feel the emotion and to maybe feel a texture or something that's um, more tactile.
Mhm.
Um, I would also invite you to think about what kind of object that tactile thing is reminding you of. So if you're having, uh, uh, and we'll probably talk about this. I was reminiscing about delivering a proposal like 1 or 2 minutes before it was due, and the rush of adrenaline that comes in the onset of panic is a very sort of abrasive, really coarse sandpaper feel for me. And of course, I can imagine, either a sander or the sandpaper roll. Yes, exactly. It makes you want to do instead of hold yourself.
I
All
have
those
a
things,
visceral reaction to that.
yes,
Thank you, Alma.
your mind, your inner mind, your visual, prowess is helping you put all of that together. And, in a lot of ways, that's what we try to do with our proposals. It's really difficult because it's just get out the responsiveness. You
Mm.
are super lucky if you can reach something that's truly compelling and that makes your client go, huh, okay, that risk, I can feel that risk. I'm gonna go with this person because they have some sort of mitigation strategy. But I invite folks to feel things, maybe at that level. I know it's hard because we move through our days pretty quickly. But if you give yourself a second, those reactions they kind of they come. And just I have piles of notebooks, so have it with you. At the meeting, there might be nothing that you can note,
Yeah,
but I promise your ears are doing the work. You are hearing and you are listening. And if you're drawing, especially to the points that you're listening to, there is an overlay with your memory that happens as well.
I like that. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Rochelle,
like it. I love the sandpaper, how it made you go, ah, oh my God.
like I used to, my mom was a single mom, and so she would often try to like instill in us kind of this like builder fixer mentality,
Mm,
household and stuff like that. And so there were a number of times that we took on projects with her. Like we built a trellis in our backyard. We built garden boxes. She at one point got really into railroad ties, so we made a staircase of railroad ties that led through our front yard. Like this is on Vancouver Island, British Columbia, where property prices were still cheap enough that you could have a front yard and a backyard.
I've heard stories.
Um, but I distinctly remember the first time and the realization that there were different levels of sandpaper, that it went from like coarse to like less coarse and stuff like that. That there was polishing sandpaper, and then there was like kind of like really abrasive sandpaper. And I do remember like running my hand over sandpaper, and I think I did it as a bet to one of the neighborhood kids, and just like ripping off such a large strip of skin and being like, this will never happen again. Like, this is my life lesson in this moment. So, so you comparing the frustration of a bid about to be due to sandpaper just really honed in that moment for me of like, like how you feel in that moment. I actually don't associate that often when a bid is about to be due and there's still stuff undone. I actually become almost preternaturally calm, and like very much like I have to be the adult in the room because everyone else is going to freak out, and I just need to concentrate on what needs to do. Like I have to hit this button that says upload file. I have to click this button that says confirm. I have to hit this next button that says upload file. And if
That's
something
the mark of expertise right there. Mark of expertise and experience,
yeah,
because
yeah.
if you are the one that is off kilter at that moment, everything else falls apart.
But I loved your description because it did give me a very clear, okay, this is how Alma feels. And like honestly, now thinking about like your doodle that we're going to do, like from a team perspective, like if you can give me a visual like that, if you can explain to me like what you're feeling, like then I have a better understanding. Okay, well I'm going to be super calm and you're going to be kind of like feeling antsy, and so I'm going to need to address that. I'm going to be able to help us when
Yeah,
we reach that point together,
yeah,
or at least have more empathy or understanding. So.
definitely.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like imagery as a way of connecting with other people. So,
It's a good one. You
yeah,
you learn so quickly.
fair. Are those behind you? Are those little one drawings, or are those you?
Oh yes, this is my son and my work.
Yeah.
When it was a very frustrating time, but every time I look at it I see different things, and
Hmm.
then up there is my son's work, and of course I'm a Justice Leaguer.
Oh,
uh though I love Marvel as well, but DC, stole my heart
yeah.
at a very young age. I went through the whole Marvel, the cinematic universe was fantastic. It was fantastic. But DC all day.
No,
DC all
I hear you.
day.
Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, like honestly one of my favorite superheroes. Like super conflicted,
Yes.
but the idea behind like your will is the only thing that's stopping you from accomplishing something
Yeah.
was like a great message as a kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly. Certainly. And it's also things like that. I was also Saturday morning cartoons, the best. The best. I mean, X-Men was my thing, so again, shout outs to Marvel, but X-Men was like one of those things that's just like, oh my gosh, first and foremost, don't have to do everything by yourself,
Yeah.
right? But you can come into a situation with so many different ways of working through it, and such a good introduction to how politics is just sort of everywhere, it's everything, and you shouldn't really shy away from it, right? But yeah, certainly. I mean, um, uh, shoot, I just forgot her name
It's not going to be Wonder Woman.
with the
It.
mace.
Oh, what is her name? Uh, yes, you've got me now.
Oh my gosh, I forgot her name. I'm gonna feel so bad, but I
Yeah,
will put it in the comments after after this, just to
fair,
say I'm sorry, universe. But
fair.
I mean, her strength in being coming from a planet where she had these options between staying, marrying the person who she's betrothed to. She also loved coming to Earth, having the moment of realization that she has all this power and strength to do something. Um, amazing, amazing storylines.
Mhm.
But
Hot girl.
Talk Girl. That's easy. Oh, yeah. My brain.
We're
My
good.
brain said no.
We're good for you there. All right. Well, we are in the last 5 minutes. One of the things that we're trying to do is just give people a little bit of insight into like the fun things that happen in proposals. I used to do this at conferences all the time. I don't attend a lot of conferences anymore. So
Mhm.
this is kind of your moment for a tale from the pitch. So you've been in the business for 15 years.
Yes.
That tells me you probably have at least one good story.
So I'm going to expand a little bit on our sandpaper memory.
Oh no, I'm holding myself already.
Because so proposal is done. It's a print delivery. I've left 2 hours before it's due. We're heading downtown. I'm not gonna say the city. And then I was young. It was my fault. Leaving 2 hours instead of leaving 24 hours before it's due. My fault because I was cocky. I was done. So headed downtown. I'm like, it's not that far. This is a 30-minute drive. I'll have an hour and a half. I could probably have a conversation with the person who's going to sign and say I've delivered. Put it in my GPS, see everything is going well. I'm not going to say because the GPS failed me. I'm not going to say the name. So I head downtown and I'm like, okay, it's cool. 700 feet before I'm supposed to get there, 500, 700 feet. I'm like, where's the daggone entrance? So I'm circling and I'm circling and I'm circling and I can't find it. I can't find it. GPS keeps telling me to turn in, but there is no turn anywhere because the turn would have put me inside the lobby of some random building.
No.
So I finally find it because I'm like, I'm gonna stop looking at you now. Like, sometimes and in some downtowns, they're not great with their numbers and their address numbers, right? And the city names are great, but they're hidden behind so many different signs and distractions. And that's where that rising panic, that like, oh my God, I worked so hard on this. Why didn't I just come here yesterday? What kinds of horrifying life decisions have I made to put myself in this position? Right? Everything. So I finally find it. I get to the gate. The gate thingy is not working. I'm pressing the buttons. I'm calling people. Like everything. Everything is happening and going wrong.
This point, I would be.
Finally get through the gate, right? Finally get through the gate. I get to the front. I don't park anywhere that's designated. I just park right in front to grab the stuff, run in. 2 minutes before. And the lady's like, "Ooh, you just made it." Like, I know. Do you have a different timestamp? I'm a proposal coordinator. Like, this is gonna be terrible. I've already got tons of text messages going, "Hey, how'd it go?"
Everyone thinking, cool.
Right? I'm not responding to anybody. I'm trying to find the place. I got it in. I got it in. Biggest sigh of relief and like almost tears in the car in the drive back. I got back to the office. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go eat, and I think I'm gonna go home. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go home.
That's solid. That's solid. Well done. Thank you for that. So good. For all of you listening, and if you're just new in the proposal industry, you don't know the struggles of the printed delivery, but it is an anachronism that I'm glad is going away.
I mean, I have colleagues that will tell you stories about truckfuls of stuff that they had to deliver and finding and coming across amendments like on the day of and having to print
Yeah.
and reprint so many copies. It's crazy, crazy. But glad it's going away.
All right. So for the Doodling, sorry, and again, the time or the date we are going to be doing it.
So the 17th, right?
The
17th.
7th, 12:30 Eastern.
Okay.
The link to join is in the community calendar. It's just a Google Meet. We're just going to hang. It's going to be very casual. We're going to have fun.
All right. Perfect. Well, Amma, thank you so much for coming on today. We appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to this session. And yeah, thank you for being part of the Baker's Dozen. Your insight is always appreciated. All right.
Thank you.
For those of you, it is the weekend coming up. Hopefully you're not working through with us. Some of us are still living in the hard copy world. Steph,
Yeah.
I am sorry about that. And let me tell you, let's talk about that. Like, if we can get Bonfire lobbying or SAM.gov lobbying on your behalf for you're in, let's make it happen for you. Because
sign the petition.
no one should be doing a printed vid anymore. Every time they come up now, I kind of like, oh, huh.
Production, huh?
I love the ones that are like when they make a comment somewhere in there that one of their goals is digital revolution or something, and I'm like,
or sustainability goals.
Yes.
And you want 1,000 pieces of printed paper? Okay. All right. Very sustainable.
Yeah. Hot. All right. Rochelle, any last comments?
No, but I do want to ask Amma where people can connect with you.
Oh yeah, LinkedIn is the best place. I'm trying to be better about, self-branding. It grates at me, but LinkedIn is the best place.
Okay.
Excellent. And of course, the Pi community.
Yes.
All right. Perfect. Well, everyone, have a great weekend. Hopefully you're not working through it. Hopefully your bid deliveries tomorrow go great and are not printed or managed by a GPS. So
send it today.
Hey, y'all take care now.
Yeah.
Adios, everyone.
Bye.
And then